When God blesses you, you will see signs that can't be ignored. It's easy to think that blessings only come in the form of material wealth or external achievements, but the true blessings of God are far greater, more profound, and more enduring than anything the world can offer. When God pours out His favor on your life, you begin to see it in the way your heart changes, the way opportunities open up, and the way your life begins to reflect a deeper sense of purpose. But how do you know when God is truly blessing you? There are clear signs that go beyond the surface and penetrate the very core of your being. First, you begin to experience an overwhelming sense of peace. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the midst of it. The storms of life may still rage around you, but within your heart you feel an unshakable calm. It's a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that holds you steady when the world tries to knock you down. God's blessing is like a shield around your heart, giving you the strength to remain untroubled in times of uncertainty. Even when the road ahead is unclear, you find rest in the knowledge that He is guiding your steps. This peace is a divine gift, a sign that God's hand is upon you and that no matter the challenge, you will not walk alone. Second, you will begin to see doors open for you in ways that you could not have imagined. The doors that were once closed to you, whether in your personal life, your career, or your relationships, suddenly seem to swing wide open. It's as if a divine hand is guiding you, leading you to opportunities that you never thought possible. This is not coincidence. This is the work of God, placing you exactly where you need to be at the perfect time. Sometimes the blessings come in the form of unexpected opportunities, people who come into your life to help and support you, or doors that open in your career and personal life that seem too good to be true. But when God blesses you, He paves the way for your dreams to unfold, and you step into places that once seemed unreachable. Third, you will begin to see a transformation in your character. Blessings aren't just about what you receive, they are also about who you become in the process. When God blesses you, He doesn't just give you things, He refines you. You'll find that your patience grows, your kindness expands, and your ability to love others deepens. The very essence of who you are begins to align more with His will for your life. You'll start to see that the blessings of God are not just material, though those may come, but spiritual as well. The fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control will begin to bear fruit in your life in ways that draw others to you. People will notice a change in you, and this change will not only bless you, but it will also bless those around you, because when God blesses you, His light shines through you. Finally, when God blesses you, you will find that your desires and aspirations begin to align with His purpose for your life. The things that once seemed important, status, wealth, approval, begin to take a back seat to a deeper desire to serve Him and follow His plan for your life. The more God blesses you, the more you realize that His plan is greater than your own, and you begin to feel a sense of fulfillment that can only come from walking in His will. This is not a fulfillment that comes from chasing fleeting desires, but a deep satisfaction that comes from knowing that you are exactly where God wants you to be, doing exactly what He wants you to do. And that satisfaction, that peace, that purpose, there is no greater blessing. When God blesses you, the changes you experience are not just surface level. They reach deep into the very core of who you are. You find peace in the midst of trouble, doors open where there once were walls, your character is transformed, and your desires align with His purpose. These are the signs that you are walking in the favor of God, that you are living under His blessing. And when that happens, you'll find that everything in your life begins to shift, and you will be amazed at how His blessings unfold in ways that exceed your expectations. When God blesses you, one of the most profound and unmistakable signs is the overwhelming peace that floods your heart and mind. This peace is not the kind that comes from the absence of trouble or the absence of life's challenges. No, this peace is something far greater, deeper, and more enduring. It is a peace that transcends the understanding of the human mind, a peace that can only come from the presence of God Himself. It is a peace that stands firm in the midst of storms and trials, a peace that gives you the strength to remain calm, grounded, and unshaken even when the world around you seems chaotic and uncertain. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us, circumstances that test our strength, our faith, and our resilience. Financial difficulties, health issues, strained relationships, job stress, personal loss. These are just some of the trials that come our way. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to let fear take hold of our hearts, and to be consumed by anxiety and worry. But when God blesses you, his peace becomes a refuge. It's a peace that surrounds you like a shield, guarding your heart and mind from the pressures of the world. This peace doesn't make the problems disappear, but it changes the way you approach them. It helps you rise above the noise, the confusion, and the uncertainty, and gives you the clarity to make decisions with confidence and faith. It gives you the inner strength to face each day, knowing that you are not alone and that God is with you through every trial. It's a peace that anchors you in the storm, reminding you that God is in control, even when everything around you feels out of control. This peace is also a sign that God's presence is with you in a real and tangible way. It's the assurance that he is walking with you through every difficulty. In moments of fear and doubt, his peace assures you that you do not need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders alone. You can rest in the knowledge that he is working on your behalf, even when you can't see the solution. His peace is a reminder that he is bigger than any obstacle you may face, and that with his help, you can navigate the most difficult circumstances with grace and strength. The peace that comes from God is also transformative. It has a way of softening the heart, calming the mind, and changing your outlook on life. Instead of reacting with stress or anxiety, you begin to respond with faith and trust. You realize that peace is not just a fleeting feeling, but a state of being that comes from knowing who you are in God and resting in his promises. When you experience this peace, it becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. It becomes light to others who are struggling, a living example of how God can provide peace even in the most challenging situations. This peace doesn't just impact you, it impacts everyone around you. People will notice the calm in your spirit, the steadiness in your demeanor, and the hope in your eyes. In times of hardship, God's peace is a powerful reminder that his presence is with you. It's a sign that you are not alone and that no matter what you face, he will give you the strength to endure. So when you are blessed with this overwhelming peace, know that it is not just a feeling, it's a divine gift. It's a sign of God's love and his constant presence in your life, a sign that he is with you every step of the way. And that peace, my friends, is one of the greatest blessings you will ever experience. When God blesses you, one of the most remarkable signs is the way opportunities and doors begin to open in your life. Doors that once seemed firmly shut, opportunities that once felt out of reach. It is through God's blessings that the path ahead becomes clearer and the road that once appeared blocked or uncertain begins to be illuminated with divine possibilities. What was once a dead end now becomes a gateway, and you find yourself stepping into new realms of possibility that you never imagined would be possible. We've all faced moments in life when we feel stuck, when we've tried and tried, but the doors just won't open. We wonder if our dreams are too big, if our goals are too lofty, or if perhaps we're not deserving of the blessings we seek. It's in those moments when we've done all we can and have reached what seems like the limit of our efforts, that God's divine hand steps in and opens doors that we could never have opened on our own. It's not through our own striving or ability, but through God's grace that we find opportunities placed right in front of us. Opportunities that will lead us to places we've always dreamed of but never thought attainable. When God opens a door, it's not just any ordinary door. It's the kind of door that you walk through and immediately recognize that this is the path meant for you. It's a door that you step through and immediately feel the favor of God upon you, knowing that this opportunity has been perfectly designed for your life and purpose. And often, these opportunities come in ways that you couldn't have imagined. The connections you never thought would happen, the jobs that seemed out of your reach, the doors that were once locked tight, suddenly they swing open and you find yourself on a path that you would have never been able to navigate alone. God's blessings often come with a divine timing that is beyond our understanding. We may not see the full picture, but when the right moment arrives, we will know. The opportunities that come with God's blessing often come at just the right time, bringing with them a sense of clarity and peace that confirms that it's not by accident. It's all part of God's perfect plan for our lives. It is through God's intervention that our path becomes clear, our purpose becomes sharper, and we are positioned in the right place at the right time. But there is more to these open doors than just the opportunity itself. Each door that opens in your life, each opportunity that presents itself, comes with a responsibility. It's an invitation to step up, to rise to the occasion, and to take bold action in alignment with God's will for your life. When you walk through these doors, you are not only stepping into new opportunities, but you are stepping into a deeper level of purpose and calling. You may not have all the answers, but God will equip you with everything you need to succeed in the new season He's calling you to. When God opens doors in your life, it's a sign that He is positioning you for greater things. It's a sign that He is working on your behalf, orchestrating events and circumstances in ways you couldn't have predicted. He knows the desires of your heart, and when the time is right, He makes a way where there seemed to be no way. Those moments of breakthrough are signs of God's faithfulness and love, reminders that you are never alone on this journey. As you begin to see these doors open, trust in God's timing. Have faith that when one door closes, it is simply making way for the greater doors He is preparing for you. Some doors may close for a reason, but the doors He opens are filled with purpose and potential, leading you to places of greater fulfillment and blessing. Walk boldly through them, knowing that each opportunity is a testament to God's goodness, His plan for your life, and the incredible future He has prepared for you. The open doors that come with God's blessings are not just for you alone. They are opportunities to serve, to grow, and to impact the world around you. As you walk through these doors, remember that you are walking in divine favor. Let your faith lead you through each opportunity, knowing that with each step, God is leading you closer to your purpose. And as you take that step, know that the opportunities He opens for you are far beyond what you could have imagined on your own. When God blesses you, His blessings are far more than just material gifts or external success. While the world often defines blessings by wealth, status, or achievements, God's true blessings go much deeper. They transform the very core of who you are. God's blessings bring about a transformation of character, reshaping you from the inside out, molding you to become more like Him, and aligning your life with His will. This transformation is not just about what you receive, but who you become in the process. One of the most profound signs of God's blessings is the way you grow in patience. Life, with all its challenges and uncertainties, often tries to pull us into a state of impatience and frustration. We want things to happen quickly, and we often struggle when things don't go according to our timeline. But when God's blessing is at work in your life, He begins to develop patience within you. Patience isn't just the ability to wait. It's the ability to wait with grace and peace, trusting that God's timing is perfect. With patience, you begin to understand that not everything needs to happen immediately. Some of the greatest blessings take time to unfold, and trusting God in the process is a sign of true faith. Alongside patience, God's blessings also deepen your capacity for kindness. In a world that often emphasizes self-interest and personal gain, kindness may sometimes feel like a rare commodity. But as God blesses you, He softens your heart and expands your ability to show kindness to others, especially those who may not be able to return it. You start to see people through God's eyes, understanding that each person is valuable and deserving of compassion. Kindness becomes not just an action, but an attitude that permeates every part of your life. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement, extending a helping hand, or simply listening with empathy, God's blessing transforms you into someone who can reflect His love through your actions toward others. Another aspect of this transformation is a growth in love, both for God and for others. As God blesses you, He teaches you to love more deeply, not just those who are easy to love, but also those who challenge you or hurt you. God's love is unconditional, and when you experience His blessings, you begin to mirror that love in your relationship. You realize that love isn't just a feeling, but a decision and an action, a decision to care for others, to put their needs before your own, and to forgive as God forgives. This transformation of love will change the way you interact with others, turning you into a vessel of His love in a world that so desperately needs it. But God's blessings don't stop there. They also cultivate qualities like humility, self-control, and faithfulness. Humility allows you to see that your successes and blessings are not just a result of your own efforts, but God's grace. As you recognize that everything you have is a gift from God, humility becomes a natural part of your character. Instead of seeking recognition or praise, you seek to give God the glory in all things. Self-control becomes another powerful fruit of God's blessing. In a culture that often prioritizes immediate gratification, self-control allows you to make decisions that honor God even when your flesh desires otherwise. Through His blessings, God gives you the strength to resist temptation and to live a life that reflects His righteousness. The more you grow in self-control, the more you will see how it leads to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. As you align your life with His will rather than your own desires. Finally, God's blessings lead to faithfulness. As He pours out His favor upon you, He instills a greater sense of trust in His promises. You begin to recognize that He is faithful in all things, and in turn, you become more faithful in your walk with Him. Faithfulness means continuing to serve, to love, and to trust God even when the journey gets tough. It means remaining committed to your purpose, to your calling, and to your faith, no matter the obstacles or the challenges you face along the way. This transformation of character is not an overnight process, but rather a lifelong journey. It's a process where God shapes you, molds you, and refines you, gradually turning you into a person who reflects His image and His love to the world. It's through this transformation that you not only receive God's blessings, but you become a blessing to others. Your life becomes a testimony of His goodness, and your actions become a reflection of His grace. When God blesses you, He doesn't just give you material things. He gives you the ability to grow and transform in ways that make you more like Christ. And this transformation, this growth in patience, kindness, love, humility, self-control, and faithfulness is the truest blessing of all. It's a blessing that will not only impact your life, but will ripple out to those around you, drawing others to the love of God. This is the power of divine blessing. When God blesses you, He changes you, and through that change, you become a vessel of His love, grace, and truth to the world. When God blesses you, one of the most profound transformations that takes place is the alignment of your desires with His greater purpose for your life. In a world that constantly pushes us to pursue success, status, and material wealth, it's easy to get caught up in striving for things that may not truly fulfill us. However, when God's blessings begin to unfold in your life, they shift your focus from the pursuit of worldly achievements to the pursuit of something much deeper, His will and purpose for your life. As God's blessings manifest, you begin to realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from external success or material gain. Instead, it comes from living in alignment with God's purpose for your life. The things you once thought would bring you satisfaction, such as fame, wealth, or recognition, suddenly pale in comparison to the joy and peace that come from serving God and fulfilling His will. You start to understand that God's purpose for your life is not just about what you do, but about who you are becoming in the process. You realize that when you align your desires with His, your life takes on a sense of meaning and fulfillment that no worldly achievement can provide. God's purpose for your life is often far greater than what you could have ever planned for yourself. When you allow His blessings to shape your journey, you find that the path He leads you on is not just about personal success, but about serving others, making a difference in the world, and advancing His kingdom. This shift in perspective brings a sense of fulfillment that surpasses anything the world has to offer. It's a fulfillment that comes not from selfish ambition or personal accolade, but from knowing that your life is part of something bigger, something eternal. When you follow God's purpose, you begin to see how He is using your gifts, talents, and experiences to bless others and bring glory to His name. As you align more deeply with God's will, your desires and goals start to reflect His heart. You stop chasing after fleeting things and begin to pursue things that matter for eternity, things like love, kindness, justice, and compassion. Your priorities change, and you begin to find joy in serving others, in making an impact, and in being a vessel for God's love and truth. This fulfillment comes not from the recognition of the world, but from knowing that you are fulfilling the unique calling God has placed on your life. Furthermore, aligning your desires with God's purpose brings a sense of peace and direction. Life often feels uncertain, and we may find ourselves wondering if we are on the right path. But when we are aligned with God's purpose, we experience a sense of peace that comes from knowing we are exactly where we are meant to be, doing what we are meant to do. It doesn't mean that the road will always be easy, but it does mean that you have a clear sense of purpose and direction, knowing that every step you take is in alignment with His will. Even in the face of challenges and hardships, you find comfort in the knowledge that you are walking in God's plan and that He is with you every step of the way. God's blessings lead you to a deeper understanding of what it means to live out your purpose. You begin to realize that it's not just about achieving your personal dreams, but about bringing glory to God and contributing to the greater good. You recognize that everything you do, whether in your work, relationships, or service to others, is part of God's bigger plan. This perspective changes everything. It turns every task, no matter how small, into an opportunity to serve Him and to fulfill His purpose. You no longer see life's challenges as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to fulfill the calling He has placed on your life. The alignment of your desires with God's greater purpose also helps you to discern what is truly important. You begin to focus less on things that fade away and more on things that have eternal significance. The fleeting things of this world lose their appeal, and you find joy and satisfaction in the things that matter most. Loving God, loving others, and serving the world in His name. This is the beauty of aligning with God's purpose. It changes the very foundation of your desires, turning them into something eternal. When God blesses you, He leads you to a place of true fulfillment, not through worldly success or personal achievement, but through a life lived in alignment with His will. Your desires shift from the temporary to the eternal, and you find peace and purpose in knowing that you are fulfilling His plan for your life. As you walk this path, you experience a joy and fulfillment that only comes from living in alignment with God's purpose, knowing that you are part of His divine plan and that your life has eternal significance. This is the true blessing of God. When your desires align with His purpose, you not only fulfill His plan for your life, but you also find a fulfillment that surpasses anything the world could ever offer. When God blesses you, the fulfillment you experience transcends the temporary satisfaction that material wealth or worldly success can offer. While many people chase after wealth, status, or achievement, thinking these things will bring ultimate fulfillment, God's blessings offer a far deeper, more lasting satisfaction. This fulfillment doesn't depend on the size of your bank account, the car you drive, or the accolades you receive. Instead, it comes from knowing that you are walking in God's favor, that your life is aligned with His purpose, and that you are exactly where He wants you to be. Material wealth can provide temporary comfort, but it cannot fill the deep longing in our hearts for purpose, meaning, and peace. It may offer momentary pleasure, but it cannot provide the lasting joy and contentment that comes from knowing you are living in the center of God's will. In fact, the more you pursue material success without God, the more you might find yourself feeling empty despite outward appearances of prosperity. The truth is, wealth can never satisfy the deepest parts of your soul. Only God can do that. When you are blessed by God, your heart begins to understand that true fulfillment comes from walking in His favor. This kind of fulfillment is not dependent on external circumstances. It is rooted in a deep sense of peace, purpose, and joy that comes from knowing that you are living according to God's plan for your life. There is no greater satisfaction than knowing you are fulfilling the purpose for which you were created. It is in that place that you begin to experience a peace that surpasses understanding, a joy that the world cannot take away, and a contentment that is not based on what you have or don't have. God's blessings bring you a satisfaction that comes from knowing you are in the right place at the right time, walking the path that He has set before you. This sense of fulfillment doesn't come from trying to prove yourself or seeking validation from the world. Instead, it comes from knowing that God sees you, loves you, and has a unique plan for your life. When you live in alignment with His will, you experience a deep contentment that cannot be shaken by the ups and downs of life. Moreover, God's blessings teach you that fulfillment isn't about accumulating more things, but about using what you have to serve Him and others. This shift in perspective is incredibly freeing when you begin to view your wealth, your time, your talents, and your resources not as things to be hoarded or used for your own gain, but as gifts to be stewarded for His glory. You begin to experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. The satisfaction you gain from serving others, from living with integrity, and from making a positive impact in the world far outweighs the temporary pleasure of material possession. This fulfillment goes beyond material wealth because it is not tied to the ever-changing nature of possessions. Material wealth is fleeting. It can be gained and lost, and it often leads to a constant desire for more. But the fulfillment that comes from God's blessings is eternal. It's the kind of fulfillment that doesn't fade, that doesn't require constant striving, and that doesn't depend on what's in your bank account or how successful you appear to be. It is the fulfillment that comes from knowing you are walking in God's favor, from trusting that He is guiding your steps, and from understanding that He has already given you everything you need to live a full and meaningful life. As you grow in your relationship with God, you begin to see that the greatest blessings in life are not the ones you can hold in your hands, but the ones that reside in your heart. The love, peace, joy, and purpose that flow from God's blessings far surpass anything that money can buy. It's a fulfillment that is rooted in a deep trust in God's goodness and faithfulness and a willingness to surrender your desires to Him. When you walk in His favor, you discover that true fulfillment comes from living a life of obedience, serving others, and being content with what He has provided for you. In this way, God's blessings free you from the pursuit of fleeting success and material gain. They shift your focus to what truly matters, loving God, loving others, and living a life that reflects His grace and truth. True fulfillment comes not from what you possess, but from who you are becoming as you walk in God's will, serving Him and others, and living out the purpose He has designed for you. God's blessings bring a sense of peace and contentment that nothing in this world can offer. When you know you are in the center of God's plan for your life, when you understand that you are exactly where He wants you to be, you experience a fulfillment that surpasses all understanding. It is a fulfillment that is deeper than material wealth, richer than success, and more lasting than anything this world can give. And it's this fulfillment, rooted in God's love and His purpose for your life, that is the truest blessing of all.